Hello and welcome to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Matthew Killingsworth, who is actually my brother, and he's been working as an orderly. He changed his life. He used to be a mechanic, he used to be in a band, and he decided to do work to really help people and make a difference in the world. So let's hear his story. Welcome to the program, Matthew.
Thanks, Mirella. Thanks for inviting me. It's a bit of an honour.
Yeah, it's good that you're here.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what inspired you at first to change from being a car mechanic to being a hospital orderly?
Well, you did a bit because when you experienced orderlies, you said that they were lovely people and that it was a great job. They were fit, they were healthy. So they were in an environment that was conducive to four great focuses of my life. Spiritual focus, financial focus, physical focus, and mentally a good focus.
Yeah.
So it's answered all of those questions for me.
Yeah, when I was in hospital, I remember like in the night, they'd come in and they'd turn you over and all this and that. I'd had my terrible injury, as you know. And I remember thinking they were like the light in the darkness, those guys. They were so beautiful, they were so warm. They always moved me very carefully, and they were filled with love and joy and happiness, and that was the only positive thing really I found in the hospital really at that time. And so that's good that you took it up from them, like you took up from my experience.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to be all of those that you described. Because
also sometimes people are at, in very critical conditions, so you're the one person that can make a difference in that moment, when you go and see them. You can be someone more cheerful and just sort of lift their spirits up a bit. And yeah.
Well, it's a good opportunity to put that effort in, and I find it comes a lot more naturally than any other job that I could think of.
So do you feel like it was a bit of a calling for you to do that kind of work?
Well, it's a bit of a blessing.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have survived too well in any other job, so it's helped me probably more than I've helped it.
Yeah. And have you had any difficulties in the job, or not difficulties, when people, have difficulties themselves? Do they share their difficulties, like their fear of dying or fear of their injury? And then do you have a position where you can do you feel when they're asking you for advice?
Well, absolutely. I mean, professionally, we're not really entitled to give a great deal of advice, but naturally, if somebody asks a question, you're on the spot. As a human being, you're going to try and think of something nice, something positive to say. Often I might reflect on other experiences that I could say something that I saw something positive that has happened that I've been able to convey to them.
Just to lift their spirit a little bit.
Yeah, for example, I could say, look, I've seen some amazing things happen in this hospital. I've seen some people really make some remarkable recoveries, and I'm sure you will too, where it's highly possible. Yeah.
Well, you've said that too, haven't you? You said you saw the people you thought they were going to die, and then they ended up just being okay, and they've
so a surprise as much to me as them.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, nobody really knows someone's future.
We don't.
You can't. No one is God. They can't say you're going to die in 5 months or whatever. You don't know. And have you had any funny stories at the hospital that you can share?
Well, when you work with that many people and that many different characters, there's always going to be something funny. I remember when I was quite new and I'm running around collecting items and pathology specimens and singing as I'm going and just grabbing. Sometimes you'll find a pathology specimen in a cup. And so I've just reached out there, I've grabbed the cup and I've raced down to pathology. And then a couple of hours later, there was a disgruntled patient complaining to his nurse, "Me." And then pathology rang my boss and said, "Do you realise your orderly delivered a cup with teeth in it and ice?" So I didn't really look, I just saw it was a cup with ice or water in it, and I've delivered it down to pathology. It just so happened to see this poor guy's teeth.
So then what happened? You had to take it back to you?
Yeah. We took it back and I gave it to the nurse who was looking after him. And
oh, that's good. And also, sometimes in the like tea breaks and whatever, I used to do a little bit of entertaining amongst the other nurses and doctors and orderly, just for a bit of light entertainment to change the heaviness and seriousness of their jobs.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess on the teeth subject, it reminds me of another teeth story.
Yeah.
And one of our geezers, he turned up once without his teeth.
He couldn't talk without his teeth.
So I went down to 7-Eleven and I bought him some rubber gummy lolly teeth. I said, I found your teeth, mate.
Oh, that's so cute. You gave him some gummy lolly teeth. What did he say?
He cried with laughter and then he couldn't help it, he put them in.
Oh, that's so gorgeous.
So, yeah, he used them for a while. It made it look like he had teeth.
Oh, that's so funny. Gee, you took the time out to go and do that. And sometimes also in your work, you've worked back when you didn't need to work back as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're not particularly allowed to, but unfortunately sometimes once you've started something, it's not really appropriate to stop. And, you know, we've got to finish what we start, and it's easy for us to go home. The patient doesn't get that opportunity. So we'll try and do our best to have them comfortable. Plus the nurses, you know, they need to hand over to new nurses or the morning shift nurses or whatever the next shift is. They need to hand over respectfully with their patient. It's not going to look good on them if they hand over an unkempt patient who hasn't been cared for or cleaned. It doesn't do anyone any favours, so it's really no skin off my back to do whatever I can.
And how many years now have you been an orderly?
Oh golly, I never really count very well, but I think it's over 16.
Yeah, wow, so it's been quite a while. And you were a mechanic before that. What was it about mechanics that you've been passionate about cars since you were like 5? So, as I know.
Yeah.
But what attracted you to becoming a mechanic, just to our viewers?
Well, it's a job of great necessity. You need to be able to maintain your vehicle. You don't want to come unstuck and not be able to know what's going on with your vehicle. I remember, you know, back when we were kids, if, you know, we had to rely on the RACV quite often for old cars not working properly. So I thought I want to be a little bit more above that situation.
Oh, good. I will talk a bit more about that when we get back. You're watching Nat Chat. We'll see you again after this break. Hello and welcome back to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich and I'm interviewing my brother today, Matthew Killingsworth. He's talking about his life and his career and all the fun things he's doing and important things he's doing in his life. Welcome back to the program, Matthew.
Thank you, Mirella.
It's funny, isn't it? So tell us, how do you deal with the suffering and the difficulties in that job? Because it's quite an intense job, because you know you have to see people die. You make friends with people, and you're talking to them, and then they might not be there the next time you go and see them, and then even you've got to take them to the morgue. I mean, it would be just, I can't even imagine you doing that actually, because you're my brother. I just can't imagine it. So how do you deal with that?
Well, you've got to focus on the importance of it. With the suffering, the pain and suffering, okay, that's very sad to have people suffer. So that becomes its own inspiration to try and help as much as you can within the parameters of your job. When it comes to, you know, delivering people to their final resting place, we have to consider the other patients. It's not pleasant. We don't like to be dealing with the deceased, of course, but we have to think of the other patients. We have to get them out of that environment, because otherwise it becomes a very unpleasant environment for the patients who are still there living. So there's no questions about it. It has to be done, and we do it.
And how do you deal with that in yourself, like to sort of, I suppose it's a reality of, maybe you're used to it now. I mean, I suppose it's nearly been 17 years that you've been doing it, 16 and a half years, but... I
find it's nothing you ever get used to.
Okay.
It's something you always attack with your best abilities at each time.
Yeah. I remember once years ago you were telling me this experience where you were going in there and some of the boys or some of the other people were talking and you said, shh, respect, we need to be respectful of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I thought that's lovely, just to lead a good example, because everyone can, you know, love in their workplace and make a difference, can't they?
Yeah. And also, I mean, we always try and focus, well, I always try and focus and express to others that we never know when family members may be watching us.
Mm.
So always keep that in mind also.
Mm. That's beautiful. And where do you've also started a gym. You've made it look like a home gym. But tell us about your home gym, because you've got like gym equipment everywhere. So when you're going in the kitchen, you can do a stretch and a backflip, and tell us all about that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Every orderly complains about back pain. In fact, probably every manual labourer complains about back pain. So when I go home, I've devised different methods of how to deal with back pain, mainly focusing on back strengthening.
Yeah.
So there's just bits and pieces that I may have found and welded together. I've got some handlebars and chains and a lot of pulleys in different areas.
And you built a whole gym in your backyard as well, like out in the sun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Under the patio, and a few bought pieces of equipment as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of resistance tube. That's good stuff to use.
And tell us about your time in a rock band, how that was. Because you were very charismatic as the lead singer. Tell us about that experience. Yeah,
well, that was great fun. Once again, that was something that came very naturally to me, to be able to write songs and then try to sing them.
Yeah.
And I was with a bunch of really great musos, actually. I can almost take it for granted at the time how talented they were. But no, they were very talented guys.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun. We made some music that I think sounded quite great.
Yeah. Would you ever think of giving that a go again as like a bit of a hobby, or even doing it seriously?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I work most Saturday nights, so to be in a band you probably need to be available on Saturday nights, which I'm not. But you know, there's possibilities around that.
Yeah, well, they have those open mic nights, I think on Tuesday nights, I think at some places, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that
there's some
sounds like
places
fun.
they do.
Yeah.
So you could get the guys together and just sort of do it for a bit of fun, a bit of a catch-up. And
yeah.
I mean, if that was something you were passionate about.
Yeah, well, it's always good fun to do. It's also very healthy to sing.
Yeah, for your lungs.
You know, I don't know if everybody knows this, but it's one of the best exercises you can do.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, you know, if you want to sing along with Barnsey or something, you're really using your abdomen. Yeah. And you're using basically all of your body and your breathing, of course. Yeah. You're standing up, your posture, and the endurance of going through a song. You're pretty puffed and tired after that. Because you used to get into Barnsey's songs, didn't you? Oh, I love Barnsey. Yeah. Still love Barnsey. In fact, I've got the latest Cold Chisel album. Yeah. Which we thought they'd split up 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. But that'll never happen. They're kind of like an iconic Australian band, aren't they? Yeah, well, yeah, they're still my faves, so. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And what are your hopes for the future from here? What sort of things do you hope to do? Oh, well, I hope we get enough sun. Yeah. I like to have a bit of sunlight. Hopes for the future. Just stay in orderly. Will you keep doing orderly work, or you keep doing that and then just maybe do singing on the side or something every now and then? Yeah, probably. If somebody puts it to me that, you know, they want to put a band together, I'd probably consider it. Yeah. I couldn't imagine myself, you know, trying to set it up myself. Yeah. And you're also inspired to do the orderly work because our mama was sick, and that was another thing that inspired you as well, because I remember after she passed, you said to me, look, this is what I want to do. I want to change my life and I want to be an orderly and really help. So yeah, that was absolutely. Some other divine inspiration there. Like you were the initial inspiration. Yeah. But then the failure to launch, the fear of leaving, security of the job. Fear of leaving the job to go to the unknown of a job that I wasn't sure how well I'd go. Yeah. You know, that was there for years. So I mean, I said I'd be an orderly for years and never really made the transition. Yeah. But then, of course, you know, unfortunately losing Mama, it was you think differently. You know, all fears were gone, and I thought, well, I'm going to make a big change now. Already a change has happened, the biggest change, you know, most people will experience. Yeah. And so then I thought, well, it can only get better from here. So I made the change, and I was so glad.
Maybe Mama helped you from heaven to push us both, because you've asked me to help you to write something up and
Yeah, well, probably.
talk about it. Yeah, and
Probably.
then you took the leap of faith.
Yeah. Well, I was very lucky that it worked out well for me.
Yeah. And do some of the patients ever come back into the hospital to see you after you've helped them through a crisis, a difficult time in their lives, and they've, lived to tell the story?
Well, I don't think they particularly come back to see me, but I'm sure people do have to
Come back and say hi.
have some return visits for whatever medical reasons.
Yeah.
So you do see people more than once.
Yeah. Right, we have to go to a break now, Matthew. You're watching Nat Chat. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Matthew Killingsworth, who is my brother, one of my brothers. I have 4 brothers. And we're talking about his work as an orderly and having compassion in the workplace. And he used to be a singer in a band, and he's a car mechanic a little bit on the side. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Mirella.
So you're a sort of an average Australian guy, and a lot of Australian guys are sort of, it's just a good thing to talk about compassion, because you're in a field where compassion is needed, working in the hospital with people in a very delicate position. So can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on compassion and just being human, really, in the workplace?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everyone would agree with you on the average Australian, but a compassion in the workplace. Well, I think every workplace you need to have some compassion for the people you work with. It probably is lacking in a lot of areas. Our job as doctors, nurses, and orderlies, we're naturally expected to, of course, be in a position of having compassion for our patients. And but I think your question's posted to the other workers. Is that what you mean?
No, but just even in your field, what encourages you to be compassionate? I mean, it's natural, you have to be compassionate, but in your everyday life as well, how does it come through?
Well, I suppose it's probably our upbringing.
Yeah.
What can I say? Acts of kindness. If they're coming naturally to you, then obviously you try and do as many acts of kindness as possible.
Yeah. It's, I guess, living as a good person in the world, really. I mean, if everybody lived in the workplace and did acts of kindness in the workplace, and they didn't think about themselves, there would be so much harmony everywhere.
Oh, well, that's a lovely thought, yeah. And it's true.
Yeah, like even on the road, when you're driving, just to have harmony for the other drivers. Pray for the other drivers as they're driving. Pray for the ones that are angry on the road, that they get peace. Because if you pray for people to have peace, then you win as well, because there's more peace in the world.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like they deserve a prayer from you, you actually win because there's more peace in the world.
Yeah, no, you do have to be compassionate to drivers on the road to maintain some harmony. I remember in Scotland seeing a sign saying, "Allow for overtaking as frustration causes accidents."
And now in English?
Well, so you can see the importance of that. That's being compassionate to the other driver. Let them overtake if they need to. Don't block them, get them frustrated, and then they'll do something desperate.
Yeah, allow for overtaking, is that what it says?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little bit different on speed limits than what we are here in Australia. We're quite restricted here. Everybody's expected to drive very slowly.
Yeah.
But there you open it up a little bit better.
And what was one of the best countries you were in when you went overseas?
Ireland.
Ireland. Oh, really? I haven't been to Ireland.
And Italy.
And Italy.
Yeah, Italy was lovely.
Yeah. And what was one of the favourite things that happened to you on your holidays, or one of the fun things, or something something memorable?
Favourite part of the holiday would have been this big thump, and it was like, "Welcome back to Australia." So Oh, yeah.
I kind of love that too. When I was travelling and I got back to the airport, and for some reason our accent sounded so obvious. Like the guy comes up and goes, "How you going? Have a good trip?" I was thinking, "Wow, it's good to be home."
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're employed particularly because of that.
Okay.
I'm sure they're employed particularly because of their accents and their welcoming sounds.
Well, I remember when I was in Italy, someone was saying to me, this is probably one of the first times when I was, I don't know, maybe, I can't remember, 20 or something, and someone said to me, I heard that Australian accent, so I wanted to say hello, and I was thinking, I haven't got an Australian accent, I haven't got an accent. I didn't think I had an accent.
Okay.
Because if you don't hear yourself, overseas or whatever, you don't I thought I spoke normally. I thought Australians spoke normally. Everyone else had an accent.
No, accent's a funny thing, and Australians definitely do have an accent because we don't pronounce everything correctly as it's written.
Yeah.
So we have ways of pronouncing things because it's traditional for us.
Yeah.
But some English accents will pronounce things as they're written.
Yeah. I remember when I was travelling, I was driving up to Queensland and I went into this outback of Australia, right in the outback. I went into just like a little shop, the petrol station and the shop there to get something to eat. And the guy that served me, he was Asian, and this is how he spoke to me. I thought he'd have a Chinese accent or something, but he spoke to me like this, "How you going, mate? How you going? You want me to fill up your petrol?" I thought, so cute. It was so cute because he's probably been generations and generations in Australia, but he's picked up the accent, obviously.
Well, it just shows truly what Australian heritage is. Yeah. It's not just the Anglo-Saxons and
it's everybody. Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah, well, especially from in the north of Australia, there would have been the Indonesian migration and other Asian nationalities that migrated many years ago.
Yeah, so it makes up for a colourful country. But the trick is for everyone just to have compassion for one another, really.
Yeah. In
life, it doesn't matter who they are, what nationality they are, what religion they are. We just need to have compassion for each other, and that's the thing that speaks volumes, I think, in the world. If we just care, simply care for one another. It's not a hard thing to do to let someone go through when it's their turn to go through. And if people wave at you when you let them go through now, and it's their right to go through. And it's nice that they wave, and it's good to wave back. I think that's also really lovely.
Yeah.
And on the road, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so, what was Ireland what did you like so much about Ireland?
I think it's just a lot easier for an Australian to get around Ireland than a lot of other places. You speak the same language and similar sort of culture.
Yeah.
Good cleanliness and hygiene and just all the things you expect. Good service, good food, good accommodation, good roads.
And England? Did you
nice
like England?
people.
You went to England as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't like that very much.
I love England.
I'm sure it's a lovely place, but you went probably a few decades before me.
I found England just like Melbourne. It felt like Melbourne. It felt pretty much like Australia, but it was colder. Winter was heaps colder.
Yeah.
That was really standing. That stood out to me. And Ireland, I haven't been to Ireland. Scotland was hilarious. I like Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, love the accent in Scotland.
Yeah, haven't they got lovely accents?
All right, well, thank you for coming on the show, Matthew. It's been a joy to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Mirella. I think you big-noted me a little bit. At the end of the day, I'm only just a whatever I am.
You're my sweet little brother.
Oh, thank you.
All right, you've been watching Nat Chat. I hope you enjoyed the program. See you again soon.